Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today's video is going to be on this BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I recently did a video on the other one, the Avocado Toast palette. Today we are going to talk about the Blueberry Muffin palette, and I'm going to share the swatches and also the eye swatches and share my quick thought on this palette. So if you guys have been interested in this palette, then please do continue watching this video. Okay guys, so I have already done a video on this palette, the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. Do check that one out if you are interested in green eyeshadows. Today we are going to talk about the Blueberry Muffin palette. There are two more palettes in this entire range, and I'm kind of feeling very sorry that I didn't purchase the other two, but I recently did a pretty huge BH Cosmetics order. I ordered some more palettes because I'm very impressed with this eyeshadow formula. I never thought BH Cosmetics will have eyeshadow palettes like this. So this is the Blueberry palette, Blueberry Muffin palette. The packaging of these palettes are super duper cute. BH Cosmetics is of course a very affordable brand. These palettes I think normally retail for around $20. I bought this during the Black Friday sale and I got this for around $13 to $15, not more than that. So they are really affordable for the price. I think the quality is just amazing. So in these palettes there are 16 shadows. I'll just show you all the shades. So this palette opens like this. There is an outside sleeve and there are 16 shadows in this palette, and this is a very cool toned blue toned palette. I will obviously give you close-ups here. This is a very cool toned blue palette, but this is not your regular blue palettes. It's a very interesting, unique sort of a blue palette, and I think the color story, that's what drew me in. There are very pretty blues. There are some beautiful mattes in this palette, and there are some deeper shades as well for depth, which are kind of neutral toned, and there are some very pretty shimmers, some sparkles. So overall I think the quality of the palette and the color story is amazing. If you are into blues and you are looking for something different, then this is a really good blue palette to try, because the colors in these are very unique, very different. The mattes in this palette, they are just amazing, super soft, very blendable. Today I have a matte eye look on, and the colors have blended so beautifully. I think I've used all of the mattes so far except the gray, which is right there, and the shimmers or the metallic formula is just beautiful. Granted that there are some very silvery toned shimmer shadows in here, so if you're not a big fan of silver, there are some 4 silver toned shadows, but all of those shadows have very interesting dimension and texture. They are not completely silver. Love these 8 shades, these deeper shades. So as you can see, there are 16 shades. Out of these there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 mattes, okay, and the rest 8 shades are metallic or shimmer finish shadows. Some of the shades also have a little bit of sparkle infused. Okay, now I think let's go ahead and see the swatches of all the shadows on my eyes so that you can get a better idea of how the shadows look. Okay guys, let's get to some eye swatching of the shadows in this beautiful palette. So let's start off with the first row here. So the first row has mostly like silvery champagne kind of shades. This one out of the two is kind of sparkly, and this one is more metallic, and there is a very beautiful, like a deep plummy brown kind of a shade. So starting off with the first two shades, the first shade is called Sweet, which is a sparkly kind of a shade. It's metallic but with a little bit of sparkle in it. So on top of other eyeshadows also it looks great. I really like this color. I didn't think I will love the silvers or the light cool tone shadows in this palette, but over the other shades they look really pretty. So here is the first shade, Sweet. Okay, I know it doesn't look much, but it has very fine sparkles in it, and it looks really beautiful in certain lightings, and it's not overly stark. On other eyeshadows this is going to look great. Okay, so I do really like this color, Sweet. Okay, let's move on to the next shade, which is the Matte Blue. It's a beautiful blue, and this is super pigmented, blends so easily, and very smooth blue. It's a really pretty, like a lavender sort of a blue. Pigmentation of this blue is, oh my god, it's amazing. So that's the shade Cheat Day. Beautiful matte blue. Okay, next shade which we have is called Crumble, which is a metallic silver, and it's quite a cool toned metallic silver. It's super metallic, super pigmented, very very smooth. There is no chunkiness in this silver. Okay, that's a standard silver. Okay, next we have a matte, which is a plummy brown, like a deep plum. Very very beautiful. I use this shade I think the most in this palette. This is also very very nicely pigmented. Look at that. And it's a very nice shade for creating depth in the eye look. It goes really well together with the blues in the palette. You can do a smoky plummy look, like all over smoky look. There's a little bit of patchiness right here. I think that's because of the micellar water. Otherwise the shadow itself is very smooth. Okay, so that's the shade Decadent. I absolutely love this color. Okay, moving on to the second row, we have the first shade called Sweet. It doesn't look much here, but it's actually a very very pretty sparkly shade. It has shifts of blue and light green. Okay, it's very interesting. It's not a silver or a white. It obviously it has a white base, but there's a very very light blue shift to this shadow. Okay, more than green, I would say this has a light blue shift and it's very sparkly. So that's how this shadow looks on my eyes. And the next is another sparkly kind of a shade. It's called Cravings, which is a more taupey plummy kind of a sparkle. This one right here. This is also very pretty. See, now I think we'll be able to see the difference more. This has more of a green shift. This has more of a this has more of a blue shift, and this has more of a green shift. Okay, so this is also a sparkly shade. It's not a plain metallic shade. Okay, the sparkles have caused a little bit of that sparkle fallout underneath the eyes, so I have brushed them aside. They are not too over. You won't be able to see the fallout that much, but if you go up close, you will see a lot of little sparkle here. Okay, so there may be a little bit of glitter fallout or sparkle fallout here and there. The next two shades are these, a gray and a brown, like a reddish brown. So both are matte shades. First applying the gray, which is super smooth. It's very pigmented. Usually grays take a while to show up on my skin tone, but look at that pigmentation. Very smooth. I don't really usually wear gray shadows, so not a big fan of this color, but if you are into grays, then yeah, it shows up very very nicely. Moving on to the brown shade. The gray shade was called Treat, by the way. The brown is called 350 degrees. So this is a reddish brown. This is also so nicely pigmented. Wow. And blends superbly. That was just one dip, by the way. Okay, this is the second dip. So you can build up the color very nicely. Very smooth. Blendability is amazing. Okay, so that's the brown, red, 350 degree. I think I love both the shades. The quality is great. Okay, now the third and the fourth rows, they have some blue tones, so let's swatch them. First shade is called So Good. It's a beautiful, like bright royal blue kind of a color. And then we have this blue, which is a metallic shade, which has a duochrome flip. So from here it looks deeper, from here you can see it's lighter. So it has a deep blue, light blue kind of a flip. Beautiful shades, both of them. The matte blue shade is called So Good, and honestly it is so good. So nicely pigmented. These are some of the smoothest shadows which I have used. The texture is so creamy and smooth. There's a little bit of like skipping right here. I think with the eye look, this shouldn't happen. But yeah, there's a little bit of skipping here, so you'll have to layer one more. It has a tendency of blending away So maybe with an eyeshadow primer that will not happen. Okay, I haven't used any sort of primer. So that's the shade So Good. Let's move on to the second shade, which is called Tempting, which is that duochromatic blue shade. I'm going a little fast so that this video is not too long, just concentrating on the swatches. Okay, so that's like a classic blue metallic shade with a flip. Okay, next two shades are Yummy and Baker's Dozen. These two very unique kind of shades. This one is one of my favorites. It's sort of a purple toned shade in this palette, so that's a obvious favorite. It's a purple. It's called Yummy and it looks gorgeous. I've already worn this shade 2 times, and if you follow me on Instagram, then you can see all the looks I create. Okay, so this is a soft metallic kind of a shade, not too many sparkles in here or it's too intense. It's a soft metallic purple and it's very wearable, very muted soft metallic purple. Okay, so that's Yummy. And next we have the shade Baker's Dozen, which is a deep black and blue with lot of like purple sparkles inside. Okay, so if you don't want the sparkles, you can blend them away. Okay, so it's a very deep black and blue. It almost looks like a black, but it has blue tone. Very smooth, very pigmented, so there's a lot of depth in this palette. It has sparkles, just a few sparkles I can see on the eyelid, but not too much sparkle. So in case you don't like those kind of shadows, you can't see that much sparkle. So yeah, it's a very smooth black and blue color. Okay, here is the 4th row of the palette. This one is called Hot and Fresh, which is a silvery blue color. Okay, so it's a very smooth metallic shade with a light blue hint. It's very intense, not like the purple I showed you. This one is more intense and smooth than the purple. Okay, so that's a light blue silver shade. So many silver tones in this palette. Next we have a matte blue. This is also a very beautiful blue. This is more of a light blue, and this one, which is in the first row, it's more of a lavender blue. This is a light blue. There's a subtle difference between the shades. So here I'm applying Delish, which is also delicious, beautiful matte light blue shade. Okay, very smooth, very pigmented. Look, I didn't really have to build up the color also that much. Shows up very well on my skin tone. Okay, last 2 shades. The shade Fluffy, which is a light beige color, matte, and there's a deep metallic blue, very smooth metallic. Okay, so the beige is a good shade for me as a highlight color, and this is also really nicely pigmented. Nothing much to show really. It's like a plain beige, pink beige kind of a color. So I will use this shade as a highlight. Okay, very smooth, very pigmented. That's Fluffy. And the last shade is called Stuffed Muffin, which is a deep metallic blue. Look at that shade. Wow. Okay, this is also very smooth. I've just taken just a little bit, and with that little thing I have almost covered up my entire lid. Okay, so super pigmented. Okay, so it's a metallic shade, but it's not super reflective metallic. Very soft, muted metallic shade. Okay, and on this kind of shades, you can top it with the other silver sparkles. It will look so nice. Okay, so just as an example, I have topped it with a little bit of one of the silvers. So that's the last shade of the row, Stuffed Muffin. Hopefully the swatches were helpful. Let's get back to the video. Okay guys, so those are the swatches. I hope they were helpful. So as you could see that from the swatches, the mattes are just super pigmented. They are very soft mattes. They blend really well. As I was saying, today I have a matte eye look on, and I have these mattes right here on my eyes. This one is in the center of the lid, the shade Delish. Then I have Decadent in the outer V. I also have Baker's Dozen in the lower part of the upper lid. And I have used a little bit of this shade as well, kind of mixed in all of the shades and created this eye look with a light blue shade in the center of the lid. I have also used a little bit of a shimmer shadow, this one, Stud Muffin, which is in the outer V, and that's how I have created this look. I have also used this Hot and Fresh silver shade in the inner corners here, so you can get some really pretty looks with this palette. Here are some of the other looks which I have created. A very wearable kind of a look with some purple in the lid and a little pop of color in the inner corner here. I had shared this look on my Instagram the other day. If you're not following me there, do follow me on my Instagram. And the other day I had created a very simple look with this brown and this plum kind of a shade, and with some blue in as a pop of color. So you can do that very easily with this palette. There is a lot of depth in the palette, so it will work great for my kind of skin tone. There is a lot of blue tones to play with, and all the blue tones work really well on my skin tone. One thing which I don't really use in this palette is this silver, which I don't think I will use much, and maybe a couple of the silver shades which I think I will not be using much on the eyelid. I can use them as like a highlight shade or something like that in the inner corners, but more than that I will not be using them. So if you ask me, I think there are 3-4 shades which I won't be using, but the rest all the shades are very pretty, very unique, and I will be using all of them. There is a light highlight shade in the palette as well. Love that there are some silver shades which have a little bit of sparkle. For example, this silver shade right here, it's very sparkly. It has like very fine smooth blue green glitter. I don't know if you will tell. So you can see the sparkle, I hope. It has very fine blue, purple, pink shimmer infused. Okay, so it's not your plain metallic shadow. It has some sparkle infused. Then there is another shade right here, which is this one, Sweet. Okay, this one also has a little bit of sparkle infused. It's like a light champagne kind of a shade. So this one has silver sparkle, this one. So when you apply these on the eyes, they don't look very foil metallic. They will have a little bit of sparkle. So if you smoothen them on the eyes and apply a little bit of matte shadow, they will look really pretty. So I really like that there is a little bit of a difference in the texture in this palette. There is one matte shade which has sparkle infused as well, but this sparkles don't really translate that much onto the eyes. Other than that, I think the color story of this palette is amazing. Just for the color story, you can consider buying it. The shades go really well together, and you're going to have a lot of fun with this palette if you are into blues. Even if you're not into blues, I think this is a really good palette to experiment with, because you do get some neutral toned shades in here, or like the purple also. It's not very intense purple, it's a very wearable purple. So in short, there are wearable shades in here as well, and there are some fun shades here as well. I think if you are into eyeshadows and you like creating different kind of looks, you are going to get a lot of different kind of looks with this palette. So I think I am totally in love with this palette. I will highly recommend it. I have used it quite a lot. The formulation, the quality is amazing. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. I have purchased 3 more BH Cosmetics palette after trying these 2 palettes, so they are on the way. So I will definitely share my thoughts on those palettes as well. I hope this video was helpful. If you have been interested in this palette, if you have already purchased this palette, then do let me know what you think about it. Personally, I am really impressed with the quality. So yeah, that's it for today's video guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel if you are into palettes. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you guys really soon in my next one. Bye.